I actually thought this episode was going to end with Naruto and Sasuke stepping out with their new modes, but we'll be getting that next week. 8 Gates Guy versus Madara, and then the Sage of the Six Paths just talking about stuff that is supposedly historically relevant for the conclusion of this story. So the elephant stomps. It's funny because at first Madara blocks one, and he's like, I think I could tank it. I think I could tank it. I'm good. Hell freaking no. That thing created a tunnel, set Madara to the center of the earth. His little horn on this headband kind of broke off. And you would think something like that would intimidate the dude. But after that, he just gets even more excited. He flies up. He's like, oh, I'm game. He says, I'm game. It's like, oh shit, I'll play around with you. I'll play around with you. Now we're talking. Looks like a thirsty vampire with that blood coming out of his mouth. Not since Hashirama have I been able to taste this type of pleasure. And you have to remember, the 8th gate is taking its toll on Guy's body as we speak. The amount of pain Guy is experiencing just to be able to keep this up is surreal. They actually turned on the epic music that goes, oh, by the way, the animation, to me at least, A+. Guy uses the skywalk to get up there, and then he does double team, just runs laps around Madara. But it doesn't really matter because I think Madara can pinpoint his position with the use of the Rinnegan. So he finds out where he is. And then finally, Minato does something that is actually worthwhile, very useful. He acts as a human shield to get those black spheres out of the way for Guy and create an opening. Everybody helped out for that one, though. Lee opened up the 6 gates, threw a kunai. Kakashi used Kamui. All good stuff. A lot of good teamwork. Guy comes in with a stomp. Madara blocks it at first. He's like, gotcha here. Doesn't matter because Guy has like 5 other hits coming in from the sides. And it's cool because the actual blow, the actual hit, does take the form of an elephant foot as it hits. And then we get a pretty good transition, courtesy of the anime, which is a sweat drop from Guy's face falls, and it turns into a drop of, I guess, water, sacred water, in the Naruto dimension of death, or limbo. Honestly, I hope that somebody out there is able to take the clips of Guy versus Madara, just the action clips, and put them together like from the different episodes and make one video about that and just put it on YouTube so that I can see how it flows just action wise, because there are some pauses here and there, but the fight's technically not over though. Like you can tell, like Guy still has some left in him. So I can't wait to see what happens next week, although I already know what happens next week, but I can't wait to see it animated. Then we meet Hagoromo and he starts talking to Naruto in a very cryptic manner, and at first I actually took the time to pause the subtitles to try and figure out what the hell he was saying. But then after a while, I was just like Naruto. I was like, fuck it. I think the main idea of what he was trying to say is that overall, the meanings and definitions that we give to words usually change over time due to cultural and societal influences. We get some background information on the Jubi and Kaguya. It turns out she actually had 2 sons, so the sage has a brother. If you want to learn more about what happened to him and what he ended up doing, I suggest you watch Naruto the Last, if you haven't watched it already. The biggest question here is who impregnated the rabbit goddess? I mean, did Bugs Bunny just come in one night? They divided up the Jubi chakra into tailed beasts. The sage then went on to have 2 sons, Ashura and Indra. Indra is just another name for Sasuke. Ashura is just another name for Naruto. Indra's the older brother. He's kind of like the douche, which makes sense because Sasuke is technically a couple of months older than Naruto. So yeah, so he has the eye powers, and he was a genius from the start. Ashura and Naruto, one and the same really. And there's a part where the sage is like, oh, just because your parents are talented, it doesn't mean that they will pass on their traits to the new generation. And there's a shot of Minato and Kushina there, and I'm like, bullshit, See, the problem is that at this point in the story, the whole thing about Naruto being an underdog and a loser, it doesn't work anymore because he's not an underdog and a loser. And many people would argue that he was never meant to be an underdog and a loser forever. Like, yeah, he was he was a slow bloomer, he would take time to achieve things, but he already had greatness within him. And that's the difference between Naruto Part 1 and Part 2. Part 1 Naruto is about a kid that didn't have anything. Like, he was just completely isolated. He had to start from zero, work his way up, make friends, get stronger, not knowing whether or not he was actually going to succeed. That's Part 1 Naruto. Part 2 Naruto is about a kid who finds out that there is actually prophecies and years and years and years of lineage and history that say that he's destined to do great things. And this sage, Hagoromo, is part of the whole destiny building theme of the story as it reaches its end. Maybe what Kishimoto is trying to say is that it's a little bit of both. Destiny and free will intertwined. Because if you think about it, even if Naruto is the chosen one, and Sasuke, you know, he's like the reincarnation of Indra, if Naruto didn't want to stop this cycle of hate and conflict, then they would just die and the same thing would go on and live on to new generations. But because Naruto wants to stop it, then maybe things can be different. Overall, I thought it was a really good episode of Naruto. Hopefully the quality of the animation doesn't die down next week because we still have some Guy versus Madara left, as well as the new modes. Naruto's mode was actually spoiled in the opening, but it's all good. I can't wait for next week. Thank you so much for watching. Like the review if you did. I appreciate that. Subscribe to my channel for more Naruto Shippuden reviews. Catch you guys later. Thanks, guys. Bye.